what's up you guys, it's Brittany and happy Wednesday. So for today's video, I decided that I wanted to do a story time, and I've only done one story time. Well, it was like 2 stories but in one video, so I've done one story time. So I decided to do another story time because I have some pretty interesting stories to tell. I mean, I find them interesting, you might not, but if you don't, sorry. Alright, so if you saw the title of this video and you got offended, I'm sorry. I don't really mean the word stoner in a negative way, but I kind of also do, but it's just my opinion. It's a very controversial subject because some people are for smoking marijuana, some people aren't. I personally am not. I've never smoked in my life and I don't plan on it, so. Anyways, if you got offended, I am very sorry. I don't necessarily mean it in a negative way. I'm just saying this kid, the kid that I'm about to tell you about, okay, if you want to smoke weed, hold on. If you want to smoke weed, be my guest. Go ahead. I'm not going to, and I don't want to really be around you if you're going to, but I don't think it's cool when people walk around with everything like covered in marijuana leaves. Like, that's just showing that you're a stoner, and I think there's a lot more negative connotations to it than positive, but to each his own. But this kid that I am telling you about in this video is a stoner. He had socks with marijuana leaves on him. He had a hat with like a huge, like as big as my hand, a marijuana leaf like pin on his hat, and I'm pretty sure he was wearing like a marijuana leaf on his shirt, but who knows? I wasn't paying attention. He was a jerk. Anyways, so if you could tell by the title, this story is about getting attacked by a stoner. And you might be thinking that the stoner attacked me, but he did not attack me. He attacked my friend, and I'm not going to use his real name because I don't think he would want me to. So I'm going to say his name is Brian. So this was one of the weekends that I was camping, and I just met this kid, Brian, and we were hanging out, like me, my brother, and a bunch of our other friends were all hanging out together all weekend. So we were all hanging out, and I got to know him a little bit, and we were cool and stuff. So sorry if you see my tree moving. I'm like against it. Alright, so at my campground there's one basketball court, and that's like surrounded by like a playground, an activity place, and a pavilion. And we were all standing on the basketball court. It was me, my brother, Brian, and a bunch of other people. Like, there was a huge basketball game going on, and I was just standing there watching like I normally do because I'm not athletic, obviously, so I wasn't playing basketball. So then there came these 4 guys. So like the 4 guys probably range between like 15 to 19. I don't know. But then they like walked, so if the basketball court's like right here, like where my hand is, the road that they're on walks like diagonal next to it. So we were like kind of looking at them because they were our age, and we thought they were going to be cool, and we thought they were going to want to play basketball, which, sorry about the sun, which is very common. Some people will just walk up and be like, hey, let's play a game, and then they'll just join the game. But they did not want to. They walked straight past the basketball court. They kind of gave us dirty looks, but kind of didn't. I don't know. We didn't really know them yet, so we weren't sure. So anyways, they walked to what's like, I don't know. They walked to this field with benches. It has like horseshoe stuff there. Nobody really uses it, but they went to go sit on a bench, and I guess they kept looking at us. And oh my gosh, let me put it this really fast. Alright, so the stoner guy that I told you about earlier, I saw him walk over to a girl. She had to be like 13 or 14, and he was like 17. He walked over to her and started asking for her number, and she totally rejected him, and it was the funniest thing ever because he got all mad and like pouted all the way back to his friends. But anyways, so after that happened, they just sat there for a little bit. Sorry, you can see my dog like moving right on me. She's like right in front of the window. Alright, so after that happened, we were just kind of like standing there like waiting if they wanted to come over and play or if they were just gonna stay there. So they got up and they started walking past us, and I think, okay, there's this one kid that was with us. I'm not gonna say his real name. I'm not gonna give him a name because he's not like that important to the story. He must have been like talking about him or something. I don't know. I wasn't talking to him at this time. I was talking to my brother, Brian, and another guy. I guess the stoner, I'm gonna give the stoner a name because I don't want to keep referring to him as the stoner because that's kind of rude. Alright, so my mom got home when I was in the middle of filming that video, and it's like 5 hours later, so I'm gonna try to pick up where I left off, and hopefully I don't leave anything out or repeat myself too much. But yeah, where was I? Sorry about the lighting, by the way. It got so much worse because I was using natural lighting earlier, and now I'm using horrible lighting. So, sorry about that. But anyways, we were standing at the basketball court, and I guess he saw that my friend, who's like 10 or 11, was like looking at him and like talking, I don't know, he thought he was talking about him, and he also thought that my friend Brian was talking about him too, and he thought he pointed at him or something. I don't know. I know he didn't. Anyways, he came over to us and he was just like, are you talking about me? But like, obviously he said it more mean, but you know, I'm gonna keep this as PG as possible because he used a lot of bad language. So anyways, he was like, are you talking about me? And I was like, no, we're not. And he was just like, yes, you were. And I was like, no, we weren't. And I was starting to get really sarcastic because I don't know, I'm just a really sarcastic person. But anyways, I was like, no, we're not. And he was like, well, they were. And he pointed to Brian and my brother. And I was like, no, they weren't. And he was like, well, they're just gonna have to take that out with me. And I was like, I don't think so. And I'm obviously being very sarcastic and sassy, and he was just like, why not? And I was like, because they're my brothers. And obviously only my brother is my brother, but you know, I'm gonna protect my friend. So anyways, I was like, because they're my brothers. And he was just like, he is too, to Brian. And I was like, yeah. And then he was just like, oh, well, I'm not gonna fight a girl. And I was like, all right. So then they left, and they kept like talking about us and like pointing at us as they were walking down the road, and I was like, okay, cool, bye. And we just continued our game. And then later on that night, this is where it all gets horrible. So I was hanging out with, again, my brother Brian and our other friend. He doesn't even need a name because he's not that important. Alright, so we were all sitting in the activity center, and I was getting very annoyed at my other friend that doesn't have a name. And I decided to stay in there for a few minutes just to like cool off so I wouldn't like flip out on him because, you know. But anyways, so I was in there by myself for like a good 2 minutes. They already left, and it literally took me like 2 minutes just to like say, okay, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm in a good mood, sorry. I'm in a good mood, fine, whatever. And I was putting my sweatshirt on, and I started to walk outside. Mind you, it's like pitch black. It's between 9 and 10 o'clock. They were all outside by the basketball court or in the field. And okay, I don't know exactly what happened outside because I wasn't there. I just know the stories that I was told from my brother and our friend, all of our friends. We had more than just them there, but those are like the main people. But there's like a good 5 to 10 people out there without me. So I walked outside, and as soon as I stepped out of the door, which let me like set up the thing for you. So the activity center is like right here, and then the basketball court is over here. And then all the way over there is woods. There's like woods covering everywhere. It's like a freaking forest. So when I walk out of the store, I literally take 2 steps. I see the stoner, which I haven't even given him a name yet. Dang it. I was gonna give him a name before my mom got home. His name will be Derek, I guess. So as soon as I walked out the door, I see Derek and his 3 horrible friends running, sprinting past me from the basketball court all the way to the woods. They dashed to the woods to hide. I was like, what just happened? So I walked over, like kind of like, I didn't even walk. I ran over to my friends to see what happened because I was like, what just happened? Why were they running? What'd I miss? So I walked over to my friends, and I see Jake and our other friend walking over to me, and it's weird because Brian's not there, and I was like, where's Brian? So Jake runs over to me, and he was like, Brian got tackled by Derek. And I was like, what? So I looked for Brian like around the area that I was in, and he wasn't there, and I was like, where'd he go? I was told this by my brother. I don't know if this is exactly true, but this is what I was told. So as I was inside, if I would have been out there like a minute earlier, I would have seen this and I would have hit a kid, but I'm just kidding. Violence isn't good. I do not condone violence. But anyways, my brother said that Brian was sitting on his bike off in the grass, but like watching basketball. And apparently my brother was like standing on the other side of the basketball court on the basketball court. And this Derek kid decides to sprint towards my brother. And as he's sprinting towards him, I guess it was in his head that he was going to tackle my brother. And if I was out there, let me just tell you, this would not have ended good. But anyways, he did not tackle my brother, thankfully. What happened was Brian yelled to my brother and said, watch out, Jake. So Derek changed his direction and ran towards Brian and literally tackled him off of his bike so hard because whatever his name is, Derek, was like a lot more built than Brian. So he like tackled him off of his bike. What happened to Brian makes me so mad. He literally, his face was bleeding, his like waistline was bleeding because he had a belt on it. I guess it like dug into his skin because of like that, and he hit his face on his bike and stuff, and it was bad. So anyways, what happened after that was, I guess he just tackled him, kicked him, and then ran off past me. I was like, so where's Brian? And my brother and our friend was like, oh, well, right after that, he got on his bike and rode really, really fast back to his campsite. I was like, we need to go find him. And by the time I said that, we already heard this big family, like I'm talking 20 people running up there, like nothing against this isn't like me being mean, but they were like kind of redneck hillbilly. Anyways, so they all ran up there and they were just like, where's the kid? And I was like, I don't know, I was gonna look for him too. And they were like, well, which way did he go? So I pointed them in the direction that he went because they were going the wrong way in the first place. And they were like, okay, thank you. And then they saw, okay, there were these two girls. They were trying to pretend like they were helping us, but obviously they weren't. We found out later that it was Derek's stepsister and her friend. So we found out that they were lying the entire time, but the family, I think it was like the dad or the uncle or grandpa, I don't know, it was one of the older men. He was like,
we saw you with them earlier, where are they? You know them, where are they?
And she was like,
I don't even know their names. I don't know where they are.
Anyways, so he was just like,
you know where they are, and we know you know them.
And she's like,
honest, we've only known them for like an hour and they didn't even tell us their names.
And he was just like,
you've known them for an hour and you don't know their names?
Okay. So then they were like, alright, well, we're gonna find them, and when we do, we're gonna get the ranger on them, because obviously at my campground they have rangers. They kind of looked, but they kind of like backed up a little bit because they didn't want to get in trouble, because obviously they hurt their relative, they hurt their son, their grandson, their nephew, whatever. So obviously they're very, very mad and they don't know what they would have done. So they backed up and they went back to their campsite with Brian. And I guess what happened, because I wasn't there for this entire thing, but I guess they called the ranger to their campsite and the ranger was talking to them and getting his story and stuff. And I don't know, I guess he was pretty hurt, but he was fine the next day. It was just like dumb that it happened. So no hate on the rangers at my campground. I don't think they're gonna watch this or see this or hear about this, but if they do, no hate to you. So they found Brian's campsite and they just talked to him and got his side of the story and stuff, and they asked where his campsite was, and he didn't know, but I did, because like he camps right by my other friend that camps in that area. So I was like, oh, he's on this lot. So they went to his campsite and it made me so mad that they didn't punish him more than they did, because literally all they did was like say don't do it again. Like they gave him a warning, but like that's assault. Like he's 17, almost 18, that's assault. For real. Like at the least you could do is like ban him from the activity center, because I've gotten banned from the activity center for something I didn't do. That can be another story time if you want, but at least ban him and his friends from the activity center for like a month or two, I don't know. Or kick them out of the park, that'd be even better, but you know, they didn't do anything, so that's fun. But yeah, I talked to Brian the next day and he was okay. He obviously had some cuts on his face and his stomach, but he's fine, so no need to worry about that. Just, I hate the guy, because he's such a jerk, and I see him at my campground all the time. Well, obviously now I don't because it's winter, but when I was still there, because this happened in like July and we camp until October, so I've seen him multiple times and I've wanted to go up to him and flip out on him, but I wouldn't because I am too nice. Just kidding. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you, I was gonna say learn something from this, but what is there to learn? Just violence is not the answer, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that was my story, and make sure you give it a thumbs up. That will let me know that you enjoy my story times and you want me to make more, and hopefully you do. If you don't, then give it a thumbs up anyways. Also, you can comment requests that you have for me to do, or like questions that you want to ask me. I always look at them because I don't get a lot, but yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and yes, make sure you give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and I love you guys so much. Goodbye!